Hi guys, it's Mr. Kaser. So today I thought we would draw a uh, Iron Man Funko Pop character like Mr. Hayes has in his room with his figures. So when we start, we're going to work vertically, okay? There's horizontal and vertical that we always talk about in class. Show me vertical, show me horizontal, show me vertical, okay? And then the first thing we're going to do is put our name in the corner. You can see I put Mr. K in there. All right, so go ahead and do that. And we're going to actually, as you're doing that, I'll tell you that we're going to actually make them a little different. We're going to make this line flat because this is like the first Iron Man costume he's wearing as Iron Man went through the Avengers movies. He changed the suit a little bit, and we're going to change it. We're just going to make this flat. So that's really all we're going to do. We're just going to change it a little bit. Okay. And then to start, I put a little dot where I thought the middle of the paper was. Okay. And I do that so you know when I make my lines, you can kind of compare where I make my lines to where you make your lines. So go ahead and put a dot in the middle. Okay. And then we are going to start off by making his head. Now his head is just kind of it's a square that has curved corners, right? It's very easy. So here's my dot. So close to the top of my paper, I'm going to make a line that kind of goes up like that. Okay. And then it curves around. I'm just going to make two curves on either side. All right. Now it's going to come down to just above where my dot is. You know what? And I like to turn my paper so my hands always go in the same direction. And I'm going to curve, and I'm actually going to meet. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. The dot is actually where his chin would be. So there's his head shape, okay? And then to make the top of his helmet, it curves in. So here's the dot, and here's like the middle of his head. So I'm going to just make a really light line. So when I make this line curve in from the top and this line, and see I leave a little bit of space. I don't do it right at the top corner. I leave a little bit of space. Okay. Now, if you want to leave it like that, you can with the old costume. If you want to just make it flat, okay, and then I'll erase all that T I made. Okay, so you can do it either way. It's up to you. Right? So then I'm going to make his eyes, and his eyes are just two big circles. And once you make them look at them and say, are they big enough? Oh, this one's a little low, so I'm going to erase it and redo it. And, you know, I'm using, as usual, I'm just using scrap paper and a pencil. Okay, this is a piece of printer paper I found. All right. And then I'm going to put a little dot up here in the corner. And, oops. And I'm going to put another little dot up in this corner. All right. And now to make his mouth is going to be in the middle. And it's just a rectangle again, too. And we'll go back and color all this in. Now, the only thing we have to do is add the ears. And the ears are kind of just above. They start out at the bottom of where the eyes are. And it's just a little line that curves up. And I have a straight line that comes up. It curves back in. Comes up. Curves back in. Okay? Then, to make his suit, we're going to make the suit part right here next. All right? Now, ours isn't going to be that tall. It's not going to touch at the bottom of the paper. Okay? Ours is going to come down like this. It's going to come in from the head. Like, it's going to be, here's my mouth. It's going to be kind of halfway between the where the mouth ends and the side of the head is. So it comes down over here, and then the same thing over here. It comes down over here. And we're just making this part right now. We haven't added the like the little joint piece in the corner, those lines. And again, I'm gonna go like this. All right. And then I'm going to make a circle, which will be kind of even with the ends of the mouth. One here, one over here. And then there's the big circle in the middle. Now, here's the other thing. With the new Iron Man, it was a circle at first, but then it changed into like a upside down triangle with flat sides. So I'm going to make that one. So I make a flat line like that, okay? Then I make a little line that comes down here, a little line that comes down here, and then it's going to meet in the middle there, okay? And then I'm going to make a line on the inside of it. I'm just going to copy that line on the inside. Okay. And then I'm going to make where the arms are here. All right. And this little like oval, this thin oval on either side. Oop, I should have made this one a little longer. A little short. All right. And now I'm going to add the curve for his arm. So the curve comes down. Now the curve comes down to about the bottom of the oval. All right. And then the glove, top of his glove, comes up and out. It goes out past where his shoulder comes down. All right. And there's a flat line over here that comes down and a flat line that comes down over here. And I'm going to make this come out a little too far on this side. All right. And then I make, so it's really just a rectangle. And then underneath that are little ovals. They get a little bit smaller. So here's an oval, and the one that gets a little smaller, and one that gets a little smaller, oval, smaller, smaller. And if it's not perfect, hey, that's okay. Don't worry about it. All right. Now, I'm going to pause because I'm going to show you I'm going to bring up the rest of his, from his waist down, because I was trying to make it so it wasn't too overwhelming to look at. So I'm going to pause for a second, and we're back. All right. So now we're going to make his fists, okay? To make his fists, we're going to make the back of his hand, and it comes down a little bit over here. And these are on the outside. All right, two lines that kind of come out. And they just wrap around. They go in, all right? And then we're just going to make them come up and do a loop. Come up and do a loop, okay? And then his thumb just comes out like this. Comes down and wraps around. Comes down and wraps around. All right? And then I'm just going to put a little line that comes in where his fingers wrap around. And to make his other fingers, you just make a line and a line. Line and line. And there's his hands. Okay? All right, now we're going to make the lower part of his body. Okay? So, to do that, we're going to make his torso, bottom torso. So to do that, I make a little line that comes over here, a little line over here, okay? And then I'm going to make the top of his leg. At the top of his leg is a curves in, and I'm going to come down to about the middle, and the bottom part comes in, okay, and it's flat. And then I'm going to make his leg over here and his leg over here. Those two little lines. Okay, now we're making his legs. So now his other leg comes down and it meets this one. It comes down to the same spot. Comes down to the same spot. And there's a line here and a line here. And to make the top of his boots, we just make it come out a little bit further on each side. And it gets a little wider. It goes out, 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 out. Okay? And then I'm going to make the bottom and the bottom. So that's the bottom right here of the top of his boot. And now we're going to make the foot part of his boot. And that just comes down on this side and this side, here and here, four straight lines that come down. Now his feet are going to, this foot's going to point this way, this foot's going to point this way. So this one's going this way, this one's going this way. Don't worry about all these little lines yet. All right? So just have it come out and down with a kind of a curved flat bottom. And it meets over here. And this one comes down and around. Flat bottom with a curve on the back. I made that a little bit of a point. All right. So now I can go back and add his belt buckle. If you want to add a couple lines for his suit. Okay. And the same thing here. I'm going to make one line here for his top of his boot. And the other ones curve like this. Bump, 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 bump. See how they curve down? And this actually helps to show the roundness and the shape of the foot. Okay? And then maybe you want to put a little line at the bottom for the bottom of his foot. Okay? Now when you color Iron Man in, remember, we'll use black at the end because if we put black in and we touch yellow to black, it's going to turn into a, it's going to mix and turn green because that's what happens when black touches yellow. So I'm going to bring up the other picture, so I'll be right back again. And we're back. All right, so now we're going to color him in. Now when we color him in, the top of his head is going to be red. And I'm just going to outline these things, these areas first, right? And I'm going to make his ear red. This ear red. And then his face is going to be yellow. So I'm outlining everything first so you can see it, and then I'll color it in later. You can see how I colored it on the example. Okay. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to outline everything first. You can see on his suit. Okay. I'm going to do the where his arc reactor is that runs his suit. I'm going to do all that yellow. I'm going to do his gloves yellow. But then I'll do the rest of the stuff red. Okay. And then on his legs, I'm going to do these yellow. And I'm kind of making up my own version of how his suit is colored in. Okay, and that's fine.